Hey, wait, these questions are the questions that JAMB brought out in the last month that was conducted yesterday. If you're praying for this says 2026 JAMB, you must watch this video to the end. In case you repeat questions, because you all know that JAMB repeats questions or something similar to it, so you can be able to know how to solve it. With no further ado, let's get right into the video. Question 1. How long does it take a 750 watt heater to raise the temperature of 1 kg of water from 20 degrees C to 50 degrees C? We are given the specific heat capacity of water to be 4200 joules per kilograms per Kelvin. We have the following options. Option A, 84 seconds. Option B, 112 seconds. Option C, 168 seconds. Option D, 280 seconds. Now, the question says how long, and how long means what? Time. And we're dealing with electric heater, right? So this is heat loss by electric heater. This is specific heat capacity by electric heater. Okay, so this is equals to heat loss is equals what? Heat gain. Is that okay? But before we solve, let us set our parameters. We are given the time. We are asked to find the time. Okay, we are given the power, which is 750 watts. All right. So we are given a mass of 1 kg, and the temperature we have theta 1 to be 20 degrees C, theta 2 to be 50 degrees C, right? So we're given the specific heat capacity of water to be 4200 joules per kilogram per Kelvin, right? All right, so what we're actually looking for is the how long, which is the time, which you are going to be using PT is equals to MC theta, okay? We are making T the subject, so time is equals to MC theta over power, right? So let's just put in what we have. Before we can solve, look at it. For us to get theta, we must find the temperature difference. That is theta 2 minus theta 1 give rise to what? 30 degrees Celsius, right? Now in this topic, we don't convert to Kelvin, because even if you convert, it's still going to give you the same thing as though you did not convert. Is that clear? All right, so let's solve. Now my mass is 1 multiplied by my specific capacity is 4200. My change in temperature is 30, right? Then my power is 750. Okay, so by the time you divide, right, you can divide. Now 3 into itself is 1. 3 into this is going to give me 25, right? We can now divide. 25 into itself is 1. Then 25 into 4200 is going to give us 168, right? So my time is going to be what? 168 seconds, right? Now this is how to solve a question like this. And from what we've gotten so far, the correct option to this question is option C. Let's go to the next one. Question 2. The effect of a particle in a fluid attaining its terminal velocity is that the option A, buoyancy force is more than the weight of the fluid displaced. Option B, buoyancy force is equal to the viscous retarding force. Option C, acceleration is maximum. Option D, weighting is equal to the retarding force. Now for a body to attain terminal velocity, we must note that the weight must be equal to the retarding force, right? Because the weight is acting downwards, right? So for terminal velocity to be attained, the weight must be equal to the retarding force. I hope that is clear. So let's move to the next one. Question 3. Point S in the diagram on the board is what? A, yield point. B, elastic limit. C, elastic limit. D, deformation point. Question now. This is what we call proportionality limits, right? This is elastic limit. This is a yield point, and this is what? Breaking point, right? So from what we've gotten so far, the place labeled X is said to be what? Yield point. So the correct answer to this question is option A. Question 4. A man stands 4 meters in front of a plane mirror. If the mirror is moved 1 meter towards the man, the distance between him and his image is what? We have the following options. Option A, 3 meters. Option B, 5 meters. Option C, 6 meters. And option D, 10 meters. So let's see how we're going to solve this particular question. So let's go. The question says a man stands in front of a plane mirror. So this is the man. Okay? This man standing in front of what? A plane mirror, right? So this is a plane mirror. Okay? So the distance between this man and the plane mirror is what? 4 meters. Right? Now look at this man. And the distance between this man and the plane mirror is 4 meters, right? But the mirror must move 1 meters towards him. So that means the mirror is going to be here now, right? Okay, so this is 1 meters. Okay, so if the mirror is moved 1 meters towards the man, that means the distance we have now is no longer 4, it's going to be what? 3 meters. Okay, now what is the distance between the man and his image in the mirror? All right, so the distance of the man in the mirror is 3 meters, because that is his what? His own image in the mirror. So that means the distance from this man from here to here is 3 meters, plus the distance of him in the mirror is still the same to the size of the object, right? Because it's one of the characteristics of object placed in a plane mirror. So that is 3 meters plus the 3 meters. This 3 meters is from here to here, that of the object, right? But in his image, it's still the same thing, 3 meters, which gave rise to what? To 6 meters. Hope that is clear. So the distance between this man and his own image is 6 meters, right? All right. So the correct option to this question is option C. If the relative density of gold is 19.2, what is the volume of 2.4 kilogram of gold? We are given the density of water to be 1000 kilogram per meter cube. We have the following options. Option A, 1.92 times 10 to the power of minus 4 meter cube. Option B, 4.61 times 10 to the power of minus 3 meter cube. Option C, 8.00 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3 meter cube. Option D, 1.25 times 10 to the power of minus 1 meter cube. So let's see how we're going to solve this question, guys. Now, solving this question, we must take the parameters. Relative density is given as 19.2, right? So the density of water is given as 1000 kilogram per meter cube, right? So the mass of this metal is 2.4 kg, right? So we should know that relative density, which is RD is equals to the density of the metal or the solid over density of equal volume of what? In water. So let's get the density of the solid first, right? Okay, so relative density is 19.2 is equals to density of the solid over density of water, which is what? 1000, right? You say cross multiply, the density of the solid is 19.2 multiplied by 1000, right? That is going to give me 192000, right? Okay, so that is kilogram per meter cube, right? So now the next thing to do is that for us to get the volume of this substance, we're going to say that density of this solid is equal to the mass over volume, right? So the density is this, which is 19200, right? Then it's equal to the mass is 2.4 all over V, okay? So doing cross multiply, the V is equals to 2.4 over 19200, right? So we're going to divide. And for us to get the answer is equals to 1.25 times 10 to the power of minus 4 meter cube, right? So this is how we can solve a question like this, by getting the density of the substance in air, then also multiply it and get what you have, then use it to relate that density is mass over volume. I hope that is clear. This is how to solve this particular question. So from what we've gotten so far, the correct option to this question is option D. Let's move to the next one. Question 6. Which of these gas laws is equivalent to work done? Option A, Charles' law. Option B, pressure law. Option C, Boyle's law. Option D, Gay-Lussac's law. Now for us to solve this, the question says which of these laws is equivalent to work done? We are going to look at this law. Which one is equivalent to work done? The one that is equivalent to work done is Boyle's law. So let's prove it. How is it equivalent to what? Work done. Now what is Boyle's law? Boyle's law states that what? Boyle's law states that what? The pressure inversely proportional to what? To the volume is equal to constant. Okay? Now let's see what the units can give us. What is P? P is pressure, right? What is pressure? That is force over what? Area, right? What is it? This is what? Volume. That is meter cube, right? So we can work it out, okay? By saying what? Units of force is Newton over meter square, right? Then multiply by meter cube, okay? So find this meter square to the numerator, it's going to have Newton per meter square times meter cube, okay? So this cancel out, I have Newton, Newton meter minus 2 plus 3, right? That gave rise what? Newton meter. And Newton meter is the same thing as work done. Because if you ask yourself what is work done, Newton meter is equivalent to work done, because work done is force times what? Distance. Okay? And the unit of force is Newton, units of distance is meter. So you cannot agree with me that work done is equivalent to Boyle's law. And the correct option to this question is option C. Question 6. A light of energy 5 electron volt falls on a metal and the electrons with a maximum kinetic energy of 2 electron volts are ejected. The work function of the metal is what? We have the following options. Option A 0.4 electron volt, option B 2.5 electron volt, option C 3.0 electron volt, option D 7.0 electron volt. So let's work it out, okay? Light of energy, right? So we should not forget this photoelectric equation, which is E is equals to HF minus work function, right? So now from this question, the work function is what you are looking for, right? So we have the kinetic energy to be 2 electron volts, right? But the energy of the photon, HF, is given as what? 5 electron volts. So we want to make this the subject of the formula, right? We're going to just put in our values, we do cross multiply, voila, we'll get our answer, okay? So what is E? My E is 2 electron volts. 2 electron volts is equals to, my HF is 5 electron volts, right? Minus work function, okay? Taking this guy to the other side, we have 2 electron volts minus 5 electron volts, right? Is equals to minus work function, okay? So this is minus 3 electron volts is equals to minus work function. So by the time we cancel it out, we cancel this, right? So therefore my work function is equals to 3 electron volts. This one is quite simple. So when you see a question like this or something similar to this is how you're going to solve it. I hope that is clear. From what we've gotten so far, the correct option to this question is option C. Physical quantity that has the same dimension as impulse is what? Option A, energy. Option B, momentum. Option C, surface tension. Option D, pressure. Now once you hear the word impulse, don't forget that impulse is associated with momentum, right? From the Newton's second law of motion, impulse is equals to change in momentum. So once you hear the word impulse, you should know that impulse and momentum, they are what? They are the same. They have the same dimension. They have the same units, right? So Newton's second law of motion, which says that what? F is equals to mv minus mu over t, right? So if I do cross multiply, ft is equals to mv minus mu. So what is my ft? Ft means impulse. Impulse. So impulse is equals to change in what? In momentum. So it had the same unit, it had the same dimension. The correct option to this question is option B. Watch out for part 2. Thank you so much for staying and sticking to the end of this video. If this is your first time tuning, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to get notified each time I post videos. And lastly, do not forget to share so that other students that prepare for this same forthcoming exam can see it and learn from there. I will see you next time in the next one. Bye for now.